Good evening, and I'm going to actually uncharacteristically read the statement that Mr. DeFrias has supplied. I hereby call on August 13th, 2025 meeting of the Town of Hanson Economic Development Committee to order at 5:30-ish p.m. I would also like to announce for all of those in attendance that this meeting is being recorded for distribution on Whitman Hanson Community Access. Playback times and other related information on this recording can be found at whca.tv. Is that still actually accurate? Because we have that Hanson government channel now.
You know, you're right. We might
All
have
right.
to make some adjustments to that.
P.S. That wasn't part of the announcement. Okay. Yeah, you might want to check. Okay, great. Present this evening, we have got Mr. Sarah, Mr. Rothwell, Mr. Cohen, and Ms. Fitzgerald Kemet. Also we have got our town planner and our town planner administrative assistant, both of whom support the Economic Development Committee. Okay, so first up, we've got 5:30 approved minutes, meeting minutes from July 16th, 2025 EDC meeting. Did everybody have a chance to read them? Hopefully they did. And if so, I will entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Second.
All right, amazing. And do we need to do a roll call because this is, no, okay. All in favor? All right.
Aye.
Okay, great. Okay, great. And that brings us to Hanson Day, September 27th, 2025. So I have been reaching out to the usual suspects as well as some new suspects to see if anybody would like to join us on the 27th. And we've got a great lineup. We have a lot of little businesses, which is great. I would like to see more. I'm going to push for that. But we've got several town departments, which I'm excited about. We've got conservation, we've got the town clerk, we've got library, and I'm working on the veterans agent. I really hope he can come. I was just prior to the meeting mentioning that I think it would be a really great forum for outreach for younger veterans and for people who, people who may have parents that, it's like a good little cross-pollination. So I'm really hoping. I reached out to him today and said, hey, will you really think about it? And then we've got a bunch of little businesses, like I said, some crafters, I guess I would call them, and then some more standard businesses in town. Northeastern Savings is going to be there. Steve Santola has graciously agreed to DJ free of charge because I have no budget, and, and he knows anything he DJs I just can't pay for. So he's always willing to do that. And we've got Plymouth County Sheriff's coming, both fingerprinting and canine. I reached out to the MBTA guy who came last year with his canine because that was the bomb.com. Speaking of which, I really never even knew that we needed to be concerned about explosives on the MBTA. It made sense, but afterwards my anxiety level, went up exponentially. So I'm hoping he'll come.
And he has nothing to do with housing.
He has nothing to do. So
Security.
don't be hater to him. He literally is just looking for explosives. We've got, I think you told me the Lions wanted to.
Yes.
Okay.
And I've reached out to quite a few food trucks. It's been a little bit quiet on that scene,
Okay.
but I think I'm pretty close to getting time travel. Food truck, which is one of my
that
favorites.
is the holy
It's one of my
grail
favorites,
of,
yes,
of
yeah.
food trucks. No offense.
they're located
I love your food,
out of
but
Hanover. It is one of my favorites as well.
they are the holy grail. I live for their cauliflower.
She was quiet at first, and then she got back to me and she's like, "Oh, we were doing a move to Hanover."
They've had a lot of little
location
truck
or
problems, and yeah.
Yeah. So her main concern was how many other places they're gonna be doing food.
Oh, we're not opening it up to a whole bunch of people.
And that's what I told her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said it's very, very, tight.
Yeah.
Not that many. So I hope that's an incentive for her that she will want to join us.
And I know Chris was reaching out to Heidi's, so hopefully they'll be
so
there.
between
Yeah.
Heidi's and the Rockland
I think that's, yeah.
Lions Club doing
Yeah.
their sausages like last year. I think
Yeah.
it would be perfect. You know?
Yes.
So,
And then, and we were gonna reach out, was somebody reaching out to South Shore Voc Tech?
oh, you know what? It
Can
might,
you-
it might have been me that was
Okay,
supposed to do
all
that.
right,
Let me make note of that.
And were you saying?
I was gonna say, is the Rothwell being interested?
Yeah,
Yeah,
did you
yeah.
want to?
Yeah.
I think with that, that's critical mass, because you don't want to, I don't want any of you guys getting saturated, you know what I mean?
Right.
File a disclosure on that, because we don't want anybody to say it was a conflict that you're running this event and you're also doing the catering, okay? Make sure that that's my unsolicited advice.
Okay.
We've got, of course, Hanson Fire and Police, and they're gonna hook us up.
Oh, and the food, I'm sorry, Jim.
Yeah.
The food trucks also need to.
Board of Health.
Go to the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Hanson VCA, Recreation Commission is going to be there. Several members of our Hanson Business Network are going to be there. Granite State, the dry cleaners, Skin Spot, a whole bunch of them. Did I mention Hanson Historical Society? They're going to be there. Tech Hi-Fi, and then we've got a lot of little, a lot of the little nonprofits, which I love. PTO, the special education CPAC, they call themselves, parents something, I don't know what the AC stands for, but it's the group with special education. And then Rockland Hanson Rotary, Mass Save, Marion Damasio from Green Hanson reached out to me and asked if they could be included. So a good, brownies, Girl Scouts. I haven't yet heard from the Boy Scouts, but I'm sure they'll want to be part of it. So good little cross section. I'm feeling good, and we got a month or more actually. So yeah.
What about Bob Bethany over his dojo?
I reached out to him. I just haven't heard back from him.
Because I know he was there last year.
Yeah,
and that was a hit.
it was very well received.
Yeah.
It was very dramatic,
Yeah.
and excellent. Now that I know, like, kind of what he would do, I can make sure we've got a better kind of place for him. I'm like gonna work on that. So we're in good shape there. I'm feeling pretty positive about that. Is there anything missing from here that we need? I do wish we could get some dance studios there, just because I'm extra that way, and I'm just like, we should have karate and dancing, like, to showcase like the stuff that we've got in town. But
They just don't respond? Or?
no, like, I've tried Kathy Jo Boss, but it's always like, and in the past she has done it many years ago, but it's just a tricky time for her, and I think it's a lot for them to deploy all of their students and get them there. And that early in September, they don't really have routines down yet, so versus the karate, they're working on that stuff all the time. So for the dance studios, that's just they're only like usually 3 or 4 weeks into their dance lessons for the year. So, anyway, all right. And Jay reached out. We've got the facilities. They asked us, how many tables, how many chairs. In the past, we did offer, like, hey, if you need a table. I'm being little more like, if you can't get a table, we can get you a table. But, like, I just don't, it's a lot of extra work for all of us and not necessary, because most people have got access to a table in a pop-up tent. I mean, I've got a few at my house, like, if people need pop-up tents and they don't have them.
I mean, that's pretty standard.
Yeah,
for
it kind of
most
is,
vendors.
yeah. Like, most of the people do other events, so the one thing that I'm waiting on, and I want to, like, the power of positivity here, is I had emailed him back in May, but I haven't heard back from him, is Blake Dinius. He's the entomologist from Plymouth County, and he does some crazy awesome stuff. Like, he does tick racing, like all kinds of really great event, but he's very hard to get a hold of. And I have a feeling that may be the same weekend that the Sheriff's Farm is having their open house. And if it is, obviously, I think his allegiance is to them. But we're going to see what we can do to, to pull strings on that. And I'm hoping our comfort dog, Ziva, makes an appearance. So I think we're in good shape. and short on Hanson Day. Any other things that you, now, we were gonna do the, townwide, yard sale. What do people think about that?
That's a separate date? Or?
At the same day, but like at the McQuan
Oh,
Field,
okay.
okay? My hesitancy, well, is that, like, how are we gonna monitor that? Or do we just say, hey, if you wanna sell stuff, just show up, if you, like, somebody will have to, shake people down and make sure they're from Hanson, cause it's Hanson Day, it's not like any old person can just come and
Yeah.
sell stuff, it is, it's supposed to be about Hanson. But other than that, like, bring a table, bring your pop-up, bring your stuff, and, I mean, do we have concerns?
Great.
I mean, I don't know if I'm oversimplifying it. Like, I kind of like, we're not doing this to make money.
Right.
And I sort of thought that it would be a good, and I will make this pitch to Grain Hanson, that it's kind of a grain thing, because instead of the stuff making it into the transfer station, it's being sold
What?
and potentially hoarded by somebody else who will throw it away or sell it in the future.
The weather
so-
becomes the biggest problem, right?
The-
If it's rain.
That's true. For the yard sale, all bets will be off if it rains. For the rest of it, we've hedged our bets.
Right.
It's rain or shine. If it's shine, all will be amazing. It will be up at Indian Head. It will be a love fest. It will be amazing.
Which will work with McQuan because it's across the street.
Correct.
But if it rains now,
No.
you're in two separate ends.
No, if it rains, it will be like no yard sale component. So I'll float it out there. I did have a couple people go, that's a great idea. Oh, I would love to do it. But whether it actually materializes or not, I don't know. The other factor to keep in mind, and it is regrettable, but we didn't know it at the time that we were setting the date, is library is having their open house and their book sale. But I feel like they could be simpatico events. People could go to Hanson Day and then just meander their little way over to the library. And I plan on saying that to them tomorrow night when I meet with them.
Too bad the library couldn't have a little table with one person
Right.
and a director.
I thought that, or signage, they could have signage, or if they even wanted to have a table to do some of their book sale
Right.
there, they could do that if they wanted to.
Advantage.
So like whatever they want to do, I'm gonna just say like make it your own. Like we want to support you, so whatever you can, whatever you want to do. So I think we're in good shape. So I would be happy even if we don't get. I mean, I'm secretly like pining away for the time traveling thing,
Oh, yeah.
but
Me too.
but if that doesn't happen, I think I'm very comfortable with Between the Lions and Scott's Catering. I think that's going to be adequate, So, and I think, you don't want to have too many people there because then nobody's making money. So it's
That's right,
like,
yeah.
And then they won't come back again. So, all right, good positive feedback. And I thought it was really a good sign that a lot of the people that were there last year were like, sign us up. We want to do it again. We had a great time, So a couple of churches, that I expect that the Democratic Town Committee and the Republican Town Committee will both say that they want to participate, but I haven't heard from them yet. And I'm fine with that. Like I don't think we want to turn it into, there's no races as far as I know this year. But like last year we had the state rep race and I just said to the candidates, like, I don't care if you show up, but I don't want people feeling uncomfortable that it's a political, like, that it would, shaking hand, like it just gives it a gross little feeling. It's supposed to be like a little family event where, you just put your, leave your worries in your car and you're just mixing and mingling in the sunshine. So I don't want people to be like, ew, like, now I've got to think about politics, like one day for 3 hours, you don't have to think about it. So that's our goal. And I have to say the Republican Town Committee and the Democratic Town Committee were both really great about like adhering to that, They had info about how to sign up or whatever, but it wasn't like, they weren't going out and grabbing people and trying to recruit or anything like that. So all right, that is all I've got on Hanson Day. Did anybody else have anything?
I think we just need to follow up with Chris Ernst on a bounce house. I think
The
he was
bounce
checking.
house, but Scott also said he had a line that he could perhaps, because he, knows Steve, and that he perhaps could get it, and
Great, yeah.
so either or both.
Yeah.
But I would really, so one year we were able to secure, they have like inflatables that you can play like football, you can play baseball with them. We're able to get those one year for free along with the bounce house. And I know I'm like reaching for the stars, but that's just what I do. So, if we could get those, that would be great. Just emphasize we have no budget. Just keep repeating that. I just say that all the time, like obnoxiously. We really don't have any budget. So I'm sure if a push came to shove, we could get somebody to sponsor something if we had to. I'm sure like I could say to the Hanson Business Network guys, like, hey, can we chip in $25 each and, whatever, if we really, really had to. But the whole idea is we want to keep it free. We don't want people, anybody to feel like it's going to be a financial burden on them. So that would be great. And then you're going to follow up with South Shore Folk
I
Tech?
will, yep.
Okay, cool. Unless they have another event, I think they'll probably come.
I think so,
And it's
yeah.
very good PR for them, and particularly where they want to build out the school. I think, they may even want to have a table there to talk
Yeah.
about what they're doing.
Yep.
Which we're open to, So, okay, cool. I think we've beat that little horse to death then. All right, so we don't have the Camp Quaney committee here. Did they say they couldn't make it?
No one said they could.
Oh, they could.
I'll just go
Oh.
upstairs and just check.
Oh, you know what? I think that might have been my phone that's been ringing, and I would feel awful. And this is now probably what has happened. Is it's probably Dory trying to call me.
Mine's not present over here.
No, maybe it was somebody else's phone.
Yeah, it's been me.
Okay, all right, I feel better. I was getting anxious. Now you can be anxious. Okay, so next, huh? Oh, okay,
That's good.
great. I don't even know if they've met together yet as a committee. So
She said they were meeting before this.
they were. Oh, okay, okay.
So is it
It's a newly minted.
community?
It's a newly minted commission. Only two of the members were like hung in there, and then we just put another 3 in there. Hello,
Hi.
we're so excited to have you.
Thanks for bringing the air conditioning. I know, right?
Well,
It's a little hot.
You know what? Actually, this room doesn't usually have good air conditioning, but for some reason it's working today, so I'm taking it. Hello,
Much appreciated.
welcome. Oh, we're thrilled to have you. Yeah, this is exciting. It's exciting to have a full commission.
Seriously.
And now you can actually get business done. And B, it's exciting for us to even have anybody here. Usually we're just talking to ourselves. Occasionally, Melissa will show up and be a witness to it.
If I may,
Yeah.
Madam Chair, before we start, could the members of the committee just introduce
Oh,
yourself?
I was going to
on
ask,
record?
yeah. Yeah, do you guys mind just sort of, and did you guys organize before this?
We did.
Okay, so if you guys can just tell us your names, and if you're like the chair or the whatever, let us know.
Melissa Scartesi, Vice Chair of the Camp Quaney Commission.
Carolyn Dragon, member.
Alex Rofe.
Justine Ladroga, chair.
Rick Clifford, member.
Great. Well, again, we're thrilled to have you. Hey,
Hi.
Dory.
Good
Hi.
timing, and this is Dory.
We know Dory. She's the belle of the ball. Okay, great. And we should probably introduce ourselves since it would be rude not to.
Ready, start.
Yeah.
Decide- Okay,
Yeah.
Kevin Cullen, Vice Chair.
Laura Kemet, chair.
Scott Rothwell, clerk.
Paul Sarah, member.
And we're missing Chris Ernst. He's on vacation. He had the nerve to actually have a life. So great. We really just wanted to get together to talk to you, to tell you that we're here to help you guys. I'm sure it's one of your goals, but it's also one of our goals. So it makes it a mutual goal of, and I know this isn't your exclusive, vision, but how do we optimize revenue at Camp Kiwanee so that we don't have any more discussion of shutting it down, or the town shouldn't be in this business, any of that stuff. And so we really want to, because our mission is economic development, and one of those things is taking a look at all of the town-owned properties and figuring out how do we optimize revenue for all of those properties. So for instance, like we have Melissa, who's here tonight, one of the things she wants to do is work on the nurses' quarters up at Plymouth County Hospital, which is the front part of that pantry. How do we fix it up? How do we rent it out? You know, and she is working on that. So that's like one thing. Another thing that we've got the town administrator working on is we've got the light control buildings, and how do we get revenue from that? Do we put an RFP out? Do we get people that might be willing to rent it from us so that we've got some stream of revenue coming in? And so similarly, we come to the Camp Kewanee, which is another very important property, and we say, like, what could we do to increase like day rentals? You know, how can we advertise? Like, how do we support you guys? And I want to preface this by saying that Dory has done way more than ever should have been expected, and she's done a yeoman's an amazing job. Okay, amazing. And we're super grateful for all of her hard work up there, as has Renee. So they've done an amazing job, and the entire staff has. So this isn't a judgment at all about that. It's really just more of a, this is where we're at right now, and this is something that we really need to work on. With that mindset, Scott is super passionate. Scott Rothwell is super passionate. He grew up in Hanson and really, loves Camp Kewanee. I mean, we all do, but he in particular loves it. And Scott, did you want to kind of tell them your advertising thing?
Yeah, I just, in conversation, I own a catering business, and I do a lot of events at Kewanee and other places. And I recently, beginning of the season, paid for advertising with a company called Yelp. And what they do is like computer algorithms or whatever they do, they get people to the hall to rent the hall out, where otherwise it wouldn't be seen. And it just brings more traffic and more opportunity to the hall to increase revenue. And it's been very, very successful for me. And it's trackable too, so it costs, you can spend minimum $500, you can spend $1,000 a month, but it's trackable where you see what you're spending and you can see what you bring in. So you could do it for a month and say, wow, we brought in 10 jobs, or you could do it and say, that maybe it's not a good thing, but they almost guarantee that it brings in business, and it just opens up more opportunities for money to come to the location for everybody.
Yeah, because
Isn't an ad, like, is that what?
So they have different algorithms, like how people search for rustic weddings, whatever, they figure all that out. And then they actually break it all down. They tell you how people came across the page, whether it was from their phone, was there a laptop, was it Google? Well, they give you more information than you really need, but it's trackable. So a lot of that SEO stuff, search engine optimization, they tell you they do everything, but you really can't verify it because you just can't. But when your phone's ringing and you know it's because of that, it just helps bring traffic to the hall.
And even if it's not Yelp, even if it's like some other format, I think what we're trying to say is like, we think, and I think you guys will agree, we probably need somebody to help us get the brand out there, right? It's an excellent brand, it's got a great reputation, but it's like a limited group that knows about it, So how do we get that out there more broadly in a controlled way? Like, obviously we don't willy-nilly just want like anybody, whatever, but somebody else had their, Dory.
If I may, Scott, so can you do month to month for like a year?
Yep,
So you could do, what's the difference between the 500 and the 1,000 option?
it's how many ads they run or how much, you know, they can run, like I said, they can go all the way up to 1,000, but you set the limit and then they work to within the budget. And it's month to month, there's no annual contract. And so that's a plus it's 100% trackable,
Right.
you know, so you can make that decision real quick, but it really brings a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
It's effective, yeah.
It sounds like it's worth a try because
Yeah.
you'll know right away.
Right.
If you're making money, then.
Well, and the other part of that is the people that use Yelp will then turn around and say, geez, I had a great experience at Kiwani, and they give you the review on
Oh, I
Yelp.
do. I review all the time.
Yeah, and then that just helps drive even more
Right.
business there.
I think we should try with Yelp.
Yeah,
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about how we have more potential, especially as a wedding venue, and people outside of our bubble, like on the other sides of the South Shore, have no idea that we even do
It's true.
weddings. And especially for such an affordable rate, I
Yeah.
think we have a lot more potential with bigger functions as well by advertising through Yelp.
I agree. It's a beautiful venue, and I'm not just saying that, but like there's something really special about that place.
Set up for a
You know,
wedding salary,
yeah.
it's absolutely gorgeous.
And not even just a wedding. Like I've had other functions there, and people, you know, it's just there's a warmth there. There's just like a character of that Needles Lodge that you're not going to find just anywhere else. I'm sorry. I've been to a bunch of functions, and it's same old, generic, you know, whatever. That is not a generic place. You know, that place has got heart. You feel it when you walk in there. It's been beautifully restored. The prior, you know, commissions have done a good job, really. Like I remember what it looked like 15 years ago, and it's no offense to anybody, but it needed some work, and people have really put in. That place is like amazing when I look back and I think everything that has been done really all along, ever since I've lived in town, which has been over 30 years, has been an improvement. It's constantly, and I don't think you guys are ever going to be able to rest on your laurels because it's that type of place that's always going to need improvement. But you need revenue in order to do that. So that was one thing. And then one of the things that people had talked about, I think the prior, and you might remember this, I think the prior, one of the iterations of the prior commission had talked about, like, how do we get more people to camp there? Like, for Pete's sake, you know, I did it probably like 15 years ago or so with my kids, and my back's still recovering from that, but that's more of a me problem than a camp problem. But my sisters came and they were like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in New Hampshire, because, you know, it just, you know, but you're like right in it's so convenient. And so I think like it could really be marketed like, you don't need to go to New Hampshire. You want a quick little getaway with the kids, with the, you know, with the pond and, you know, all of the, you know, amenities, we've got it. And by the way, if you need to run home and feed your dog or run home and water your garden or whatever you need to do, you can do it. Because a lot of people, one of the things, my sister just married a gentleman who owns a campground down in Plymouth. And she said to me, I can't believe how many people just are here every weekend, but they live like 2 towns over. And we could capture some of that. Like, obviously, we can't have RVs there. But we can have people that want a little cabin experience.
Some pitch tents, the Boy Scouts
Yeah.
pitch tents.
Yeah. So, you know, so again, I think it's too much to expect that volunteers are going to do the advertising and the marketing, although I know some of you guys have got a marketing background, and I think that that would be super helpful in terms of helping to package, you know, for somebody to market. But I think it would be money well spent. And I mean, I really feel like for the price point,
Yeah.
I'm struggling with the downside. You know, I don't, yeah.
There are like Yelp equivalents for camping as well.
and then they can, just because they advertise for weddings, that whole, they can advertise for, you know, hall rentals, camping, that can all be under the same package to draw the people in. And it's the same cost too. So I mean, it really, it's a broad brush that they can put out there.
And I think like family reunions. I mean, please, off the hook. And you've got that little lodge that people always forget about that's over amongst the cabins, because everybody always thinks Needles Lodge, but you get the other one. Yeah, it's a little funky, a little more rustic, but I've been to things there and it's perfectly fine, So and then I think also the fact that it's contiguous to Smitty's Bog, which is a lovely little place, like that should be part of the marketing. Like, hey, right next to conservation, you're gonna walk over there, you're gonna see a great blue heron. You're gonna, because I was just there last week, so you're gonna see a green heron. You're gonna see any time of the year. You're gonna see all kinds of different things, turtles, frogs, and again, that's not like your garden variety thing. It's right here.
And we have trail map.
And
we have trail
exactly, and we have trail maps, which we've got on our agenda. He's trying to transition. We're not ready for the transition yet, but
Well, no, the reason why
yeah.
I say that is because we were looking at the trails, we were also looking at Camp Kawani, how can we help Camp Kawani? And so I asked Jay to do some research, and so one of the things she did was the See Plymouth folks. So I want to let her just talk about
Yeah,
that real quick,
definitely.
because it has to do with the camp.
Yeah, so they are just kind of a tourism website for the entire county of Plymouth, and then they have different sections for all the towns. Currently, the only thing for Plymouth, before I reached out to them, was the War Memorial. So I was like, hey, we've got this great venue, could that go on the site? And they sent me back this, but then they sent me back and said, oh, you're not a member, so we can't do this. So right now it is listing Camp Kawani as a thing in Hanson, but they've taken down the full page that they had sent me. But membership for them is $135 annually. I put information about that in your pack as well. And let's see.
On the screen.
Yeah. Some of the highlights of the membership benefits for See Plymouth, they put listings on website, digital guides, and app. So we could list as the town of Hanson and then have separate pages for like our hiking trails and for Camp Kawani. They will include listings on the Visit MA website as well. So that's a full other website that our listings get on. They have 3 different locations that they do brochure displays we could put out. They would put it in the See Plymouth guidebooks. They have those like free little magazines that they hand out in travel places. We'd have discounts on other advertising opportunities that they do. And then if we ever needed grant support letters, that's part of it as well.
Okay, again, for $135, you guys will probably want to, do more follow-up. We're just suggesting, like, we're not,
Yeah,
I just want to be
great
clear, we're not like
suggestion.
mandating anything here. This
No,
is just like
awesome.
a kind of a wild brainstorming session between us.
Yeah,
Make sure,
know.
make sure to email you this information.
yeah, that'd be awesome. $135 and to be mentioned in Plymouth and there's hardly anybody on it, like, that's great.
Yeah, and the Hanson page is just so empty right now, which is
Yeah.
what made me look at it in the first place.
Right?
Well, and I think we could do a better job on our town website of pumping up the volume on Camp Kawani. I also think we may want to do, cable will offer like free PSAs. We might want to take advantage of those.
Yeah.
Maybe interviewing different people with their experiences, somebody that had a wedding or somebody that had, a reunion there or somebody that had a camping experience, somebody that's swimming at the cove. We may want to because we kind of have to think of like meet people where they are, all the different, things that people might want to do there. I think you've got such a great foundation to build on, like with the cove being open and with it being, we've got good wedding business there. But then like one of the other things that we really would like to do is work with the Metro Chamber of Commerce and or South Shore Chamber of Commerce and see if we can get it out there to the businesses who are thinking about having luncheons or having, like brainstorming, strategic planning sessions or whatever, because I would love to see it used during the day.
Yeah.
You know, because we've got staff there anyway,
Right.
and like we've got the lights on, and we're paying for all that stuff anyway. So it'd be great if we could have, you know, people there. And again, it's a beautiful, like, I really think if people went there for a little luncheon or like a Christmas party or just whatever, an employee, you know, appreciation party, I think they would be like, oh my God, this is so magical, and it's such an amazing, you know, price. It's so cost effective.
Right.
So, I'm a huge Camp Kawani lover, so unapologetically. So, yeah.
I was gonna say, I know the committee's been together a short time, but have you had an opportunity?
2 hours.
We just had that first meeting.
So you've been together 2 hours, but I'm sure you probably have your own ideas for the camp that maybe you wanna share, if you're willing to share. Any thoughts at this point? or-
Well, I would take this back and we talk about it amongst ourselves, how much advertisement we want to get. And one of the dangers is we don't want to lose the rustic portion.
No.
We don't want a paved highway with 3 lanes coming into the camp.
Oh, yeah.
Which has been
Yeah.
suggested in the
Yeah.
past by other board members in this building.
Oh.
Just so you know.
Okay.
So, and that's the things we don't want to change. We
Yeah.
want to keep the rustic look, we want to keep the small driveway, and we want to keep it old-fashioned and beautiful. And we want to keep as many trees as possible.
Yeah.
So that's something that we all have to talk about. How busy do we want it to be? Do we want it to go 24/7? Do we want people coming into the cabins and moving out in 5 minutes with a quick cleaning in between? I mean, you could really turn it into like a hotel. But the land probably couldn't sustain that much traffic.
Yeah.
The bathrooms probably couldn't sustain that much traffic. We probably would have septic problems. There's a whole bunch of things we'd have to think about and look at to make sure that if we brought it up like that, what is the consideration?
Yeah, I do hear what you're saying, but I will say to you, there's a tremendous amount of pressure. I'm not asking you to take it to, like, we don't need to be like Encore Hanson here. I'm just saying, we gotta take it up a notch on
So
revenue.
when you say take
Yeah.
it up a notch, or
Yeah.
pull in like 327,000 last year, what do you think up a notch means? Double?
No,
Double it?
no, even if it
50%?
was another 100,000, it would be
Another
great.
100,000?
Yeah,
That
yep,
may be doable.
Yeah.
But we need to talk
Yep.
about it.
yeah,
Look at all the things that you mentioned.
yeah.
How much we could spend for advertising. What do you think might be what's the cost effective?
My true goal is to literally be able to sit at town meeting and say, you don't need to worry about Camp Quaney. It is literally self-sufficient and then some. There's money, they've got the money set aside. I don't want to keep hearing about how we're supporting Camp Kawani and how the town shouldn't be in the business of supporting I know what happened at the last town meeting was there was inartful language around what was trying to be done, and we're gonna try to rectify that at the October town meeting. But I want there to be no mistake, and a buffer, not just making the money, but putting the money aside. I'd even like Lisa Clark to be investing long-term for, you know, the camp.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, just so that you have a comfort level, so that, just so you're aware that I've already submitted the article for that.
Yeah, I know.
And
Yeah.
so, but that, by transferring 31,000 of our own money in there for this fiscal year, we have 120,000 in the bank in our retained earnings. And Eric thinks likely it may be 150 by the time we certify free cash. So I just want you to be aware of
Yes.
that. And
Yeah.
that, you know, taking that whole thing, that was just to set the tax rate, that was just.
I understand that, but I
It
don't
was to
think
be
anybody at
returned.
town meeting did. It was
Nobody
just
did.
not
Nobody did. It
clearly
was a huge
communicated.
misunderstanding, and so we never needed the money from free cash from the town. We never did. We haven't in the past 5 years that I've been here.
No, I know, we had to come to the select board meeting a couple weeks ago and discuss it, so I
Yeah.
knew that before then, but.
Yeah, just
I-
wanted
yeah.
you to feel safe that yes, there is money in the bank, and I would love another $100,000.
my-
I'm with you 100%.
The reason I'm saying the 100,000 is, like, what I'd really like to see happen is that we're sowing the seeds so that if you guys have any kind of wild infrastructure needs that you're gonna come up with, again, you and it may be, you know, like, the septic was not that long ago redone, although I have heard various reports about, for some reason, the pumping seems to be, it has to constantly be pumped. That's
Once
another.
a year, yeah.
Yeah, that's another discussion for another day, but let's say there was something that happened up there, Certainly you could come to the town for funding, but it'd be great to say, by the way, we already have $150,000 towards whatever this thing is that we need to do.
Right.
Or even not even if it's something catastrophic, say it's an improvement that you want to do.
Air conditioning, we want to improve the air conditioning.
Okay, so it would be, and I really think Lisa Clark, our treasurer collector, is amazing at investing money, not even huge dollar amounts, and getting amazing returns.
Yeah.
She's a rock star. So I think we should leverage that and see what we can do with some of your money. Not all of it, because you're going to want to have, some ability to pivot, but some amount. But in order to have her invest it, you've got to have a little bit more money than you've got right
Yeah.
now. So that's, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one quick thing, if we're looking at $100,000, right? How many events? It's like a wedding is like 7,000 or more.
8,500 or 10,000.
So you're talking 10 to 15 more events a year.
Yeah.
Would
I know.
bring in $100,000.
Yeah.
That's what we need. That's
Yeah.
that's my goal.
Right.
I think it's doable.
Oh, it's definitely
I think
doable.
it is too.
I think when the phone starts ringing, and then you have the opportunity to say no
Yeah,
if you
especially
don't
like,
want it.
like you said, we could do the camping piece, the party piece, the wedding piece, the whole camp.
But to your point, one of the things that I don't want to lose, and I do worry about this sometimes, is, and again, I know you guys are just getting the band back together again. It's, you haven't had a full
Nice way
group,
to put it.
but one of the things ideally, I'd like to see us block off and say, this weekend is for a town-wide event that we're having, and we're just not renting it out that weekend, because every year we do our Easter egg roll, or every year we do our, cabin thing, whatever it is. I'm making this stuff up, but, like, we block it off, and it's not open. Here's our availability, but these dates we're not really going to negotiate, because it is a town facility and it's there for the benefit of the citizens as well. Like, I am saying we need to make money, but we need to make money in order to be able to really service the community. And in order to do that, we've got to block it off and have availability. So, yeah, hopefully that all made sense.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
totally. And then to give back to the community.
Yeah. Because, there were some wonderful events up there. I know it wasn't without controversy, but there were some great events, over the last couple of years. I can think of all kinds of different little, the cabin things, the story walks.
Wonderland.
Yes.
the
Those were
spectacular.
fun. And I didn't even have kids. I just, I
Yeah.
liked going to them. So,
And like a movie night, I wanted to do
Yes.
that. I wanted to show Jaws,
yeah,
down at the coast.
that would be hysterical.
I know.
Yeah. Somebody sent me a thing along those lines that you could have people in the water and like put a movie screen in the water showing the movie,
Oh, wow.
which would be creepy if it was Jaws. I mean, but
My brother owns one of those inflatable
Yeah.
screens. They're not crazy expensive.
No.
It's like you get an inflatable screen and then it's just a projector on it.
Yeah. Could you send me some information on that? That would be awesome. Thank you.
It's always what Friday the 13th kind of theme, right?
Yeah.
yeah, traumatizing future generations. That's wonderful. It's part of the mission.
Free
So-
hockey mask with every ticket.
Yeah.
Just having looked at the camp, were we there for like an hour today? Dory walked me around and we talked about some of it, and then we had our very quick meeting. And I think that there's some basic foundational things for the commission to put together first, and one would be kind of reviewing where we are in the market.
Yes.
So like
Yep.
looking at our pricing, looking at what other people are doing.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
just looking at it as a business and saying, okay, what is our competitive advantage? What are we up against? And then looking at how do we get that out into the marketplace of the people we think are our most likely targets.
Definitely.
So as talking to Dory today, there's people that want that Needles Lodge feel for their wedding, and they're willing to, buy the whole package or extend their stay or do other things and then there's those that will never talk to them because they're just not the Camp Kawani wedding people,
Yep.
which is great. So the more we know about who we attract, know that our pricing and our offering is in line or better than where they can go competitively, then we can put together a stronger story.
Yep.
And then we can use some of these other vehicles to get our story out there. But I think we're starting with a foundational, what do we have that's working really well? Are we competitive? And then how do we put that story together? And whether it's updating our website or reaching out to some other media things to do, I think we could do some tests on those to see what brings us the best return.
That sounds amazing. And you know, and I know we're kind of like, you guys are just starting out, you know, you're getting your sea legs as a group. And so I totally respect that and honor the fact that you guys have got to do that foundational work and start figuring out how to work together and who's who in the zoo and who's going to take on what roles and all of that. Just know that we're here to support you. And, you know, and we've got Tony as a resource. We've got Jay as a resource. I don't want Dory to feel as though she's, you know, the only person trying to do this, and Renee, for you guys. You know, I want to make sure that if there's anything that the town administrator can do for you guys, that you're reaching out to the select board, to me, on the select board, you know, like whatever we can do to help, that's what we're here to do. Like, we're in it together, and I sincerely mean that. And we can get way more done if we're working together. There's just power in numbers. So, you know, we're thrilled that we've got the full group. And thank you so much for extending your first meeting to include us. Did you guys have any questions or anything for us, or?
No.
Not at this time.
No,
I guess we're gonna have to
This
discuss it.
was great, everything.
Yeah, it's a lot to digest.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all positive, exciting things.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
great. Thank you so much, you guys.
Yeah.
And again, have your people call our people, whatever you can do to help. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
All right. And then, my typical fashion, I have lost my agenda. Okay. All right. Well, that was very positive.
Great, yeah.
And very exciting. But we do need them to make more money. I know it's an uncomfortable subject, but we do. That was great, Scott. Thank you for that contribution. And I think we had appointed you as our liaison. So now that we've had that convo broken
Yep.
down, they know what the goals are. I will leave it to you to just reach out to Dory and say, hey, I'm the liaison. I'd love to attend future meetings if,
Sure.
you know, if you think it's you know, worthwhile.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds great.
Yeah. Okay, promotion of Hanson Trail Maps, Mr. DeFrias.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. So let me see if I can do this. So I think in your packet you have some information regarding the Hanson Open Trail promotion. So I asked you to do some research. She's not taking anything away from Kim, but Jay has stepped into her shoes and done a fantastic job in the short amount of time she did. So I asked her to do some research, and I'll let her tell you what she found in regards to the research for promoting the trails, just brochures.
Yeah, so this is just kind of an overall proposal for different ways we could do it. Some of the stuff like we're already kind of looking at and have been doing. Some of these things I just think would be good ideas to keep in mind moving forward and things that we could implement. So just kind of, you know, not going to read all of this, but hit the big points. Hanson doesn't have a huge online presence.
No.
So not for camp, not for the hiking trails, not for anything. So I think just really utilizing some of these like smaller blogs and websites and reaching out to them. So I've kind of been doing that a little bit. I spent a while yesterday getting all of our trails on that hikingtrailhead.com, like manually entering
Oh, wow,
them
thank
in.
you. That's great.
But just, you know, a lot of these blogs and things I found are just passion projects for like small groups or individual people, and they are willing to put more stuff on there because it helps their blogs as well.
Yeah.
So just making those contacts. Yeah, The next point is strategic advertising. So I believe we kind of discussed the Visit New England website a little bit last time. There's the See Plymouth one that we discussed today, but really just kind of trying to find those places where if somebody is Googling where to hike in South Shore, that we're one of the things that comes up.
That's awesome.
Then we have submitting to newspapers and like local places like that. I've actually reached out to Whitman Hanson Express. A half-page ad is $315. But if we submit an article about something we've done,
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
that's free.
Yeah.
So, after this, I actually have a different thing, an idea that I have for that. But so trying to create events and things that allow us to get published places. They don't have to be big. Last month, the library had a hike and they had a full page about their hike for the library. So
Yeah.
they don't have to be big events for that to be worthy of the Whitman Hanson Express.
What about
Slow
just the
news.
fact that we, that we did the brochures and that they trails of.
That's what I was gonna say,
Been
yeah.
all,
Yeah.
we've got all the kiosks up and the trails have been all cleaned up.
Yeah,
Just
I was-
that alone
Yeah,
could be a big, hey, look what we did.
Yeah.
See it.
It's like if I think Dave would probably do it, cause as, say like an interview with Dave Mansfield, Hanson's unofficial trail boss.
Yeah.
And have an interview with him, and then he can explain. We can have the photos of take photos of where he is, where the trails, and him at the trails, and the work that's been done, et cetera, et cetera. And there's our article.
yeah.
And then they could publish it, so.
Yeah, I think, or even just keep it simple, like, hey, did you know that the collaboration between all these departments, we've created a trail thing, here's the link to it. They're also available hard copy in the library, in town hall, wherever,
Yeah, and
Um,
they have been, though they're free, they've been selling like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, Jane.
Oh, you're good. The next section is just promotion through social media and events. For better or worse, people are online. That's where people find things and where people see things now. Again, we don't have a huge online presence. The town of Hanson does actually have several different Instagram pages, but I have not been able to figure out who is running any of them, and most of them haven't
Oh, boy.
been touched. And
There was a
Quite a while.
controversy a few years ago about somebody saying that they
Sure.
were Hanson Instagram when they weren't, and I thought they took it down, but I haven't not monitored that.
Some of them at different points were posting like official town notices.
Okay.
So I do think something was official, but nothing's been posted in quite a while.
It's probably something beyond the Economic Development Committee, but something we're going to need to work with our new IT director to batten down the hatches on.
Reel in.
Yeah, because it's like the Wild West, which is not a good look. Because, I always go worst case scenario. Like if somebody's purporting to be like the official, Hanson page, and they put something crazy out there and people are panicking because of the crazy thing that they post, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So we do
My
need to,
guess from looking at them is it's just past employees that aren't here anymore.
that's probably
Because
true.
they look
Yeah.
like they were legit. and
Well-intentioned,
an employee
yeah.
Left, and
Yeah.
then that information wasn't passed on to the next person.
That's probably
I do
it.
think there's ways that we could contact Instagram and prove that like we are the town of Hanson and get those either turned over to us or removed. So that's something I'm gonna look into a bit more.
Yeah,
But
I think Matt would be willing to help you if you reach out to him. Yeah.
he's my office buddy, so
Well, that makes it convenient.
easy contact with Matt. But with that, I think having maybe a little sign on our trails that has a hike Hanson hashtag so people
Yeah.
can post pictures and we have something more cohesive that starts to come up in algorithms.
And can we do something at Hanson Day for this?
Yeah.
I'm wondering, I know Conservation's down their admin, because Lon just took a job in the treasurer collector's office. But I'm wondering if we could asked Frank if that's what I think that's what they were planning on doing, was having those trail maps.
I had a conversation with Dave Mansfield, and I think that was one of the intentions.
Okay.
At Hanson Day, and we'd be able, he could have some of the trail maps there for folks to take.
That would be beautiful, yeah.
And again, we're trying to, once we determine our web platform, is, we want to have a dedicated page to the trails.
That's great. Maybe you could have her take a picture with the trail boss, Dave Mansfield. Get your picture taken with him, because he actually is like,
And then post.
yeah, exactly, like, and tag him like trail. I'm a boss too, or like something like that. I'm a trail boss.
Make like the Game of Thrones, throw 'em but with sticks.
Like one of the things that Jay had brought up, she was saying that she's an avid bird watcher, and
You're gonna regret saying that.
I just remembered after saying that, I believe you're an avid bird watcher as well. Well, like just being, if you're a bird watcher, wanting to know these trails, you know, because then you know these trails there to go bird watching.
Well, like there are a ton of Facebook groups like Eastern, birding, Eastern Mass birding, da 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 da. If we put stuff on there, of course, the downside to that is then all those special little sightings that we have here in Hanson, other people would get to share. But honestly, at Burridge, I see people from all over Massachusetts that go there because somebody will post something on one of the birding sites saying they saw sandhill cranes or something of that sort, and all of a sudden everybody's flocking down to see them. There's also constantly like reports of nesting bald eagles, and people like will be like meandering, and I'm like, yeah, I've been here for 10 years and I've seen one bald eagle. Maybe there's a nesting pair, I don't know, but I haven't seen them. So yeah.
Burridge is actually the one that always comes up. Before I even started working here, I'd gone to Burridge specifically because it came up
Yeah.
as a good place to bird watch. There's also programs like National Trails Day has a Trails Day event that they put on every year. It's a national event, and what they do is if your town signs up for it and says that you're going to throw a Trails Day event, then they advertise it nationally on their site as well. And that's free. Like you just sign up and say, yeah, we'll do a Trails Day event. They send you some like
tchotchkes.
tchotchkes,
Yeah.
yeah, and then you just have an event. Doesn't have to be a big event, but just saying like, here's our trails, let's go hike down one, or something simple like that.
And when is National Trails Day? I feel like
It is in the spring. I don't remember exactly.
Okay, all right.
when.
That would be great.
It's
I
already
think.
past this year, right?
Yeah, that would be fun.
And then of course there's always grants and programs that we can keep looking into for maintenance, upkeep, and something that pops up in a lot of the grants that I've seen is stewardship. So kind of teaching the next generation how to care for trails and having events around that and educational events around that.
I would love to have like the Boy Scouts get on board with, like maintaining, like at least town forest, because they camp and do stuff at town forest.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that we had discussion, Jay had brought up, because your family, right?
Yeah, my husband, him and his two brothers are all Eagle Scouts. Their dad was like an assistant scoutmaster forever. So I just feel like we should be contacting them and leveraging that for even Eagle Scout projects to make trails. Like
I agree. In fact, the other night I was here and I saw the pitiful little benches that are like getting buried by the brush over by town hall.
I applied to the Conservation Commission.
Oh, you did?
he's trying so hard.
I applied to the Conservation Commission, and they did grant, I requested what's called vista pruning, and I gave them a letter, pictures, and a plan to show, so that we can get the vegetation removed from in front of each one of the benches so that you can actually see the pond.
Okay.
And so, we're working with Highway to see if possibly with their schedule, they might be able to get in there
That'd be great.
and clear those areas. And then I believe that the Conservation Commission is going to ask Phil Clemens to go along the shore of the pond behind the town hall to take a look at what invasive species are there, in other words, that don't belong there, and then we'll come up with a plan of getting rid of them, so that'll kind of open things more. So the first step will be at least getting in front of the benches.
That would be great,
Being
because
able
right
to
now
see-
you've got like this much of a vista. You have to park in the right place.
Right, so being
Yeah.
able to see the pond.
Yeah.
And then I've talked with Charlie Baker, and we're hoping to maybe get those benches replaced too.
That was where I was going, is I thought to myself, we should keep a punch list of things and go to the local troops and say to them, if any of your people are looking for projects, we need the benches replaced, we need this done. They're not heavy lifts, but they add up, you know, and these kids are looking for something, and if we need it, we should just tell people, we need this, and we'd love you to do this project for us, with adult supervision, obviously, but
And we're gonna get rid of the poison ivy that's around the benches. So
yeah, that gives that warm, fuzzy feeling to everybody. Okay, wow, this is great, Jay, really, really thorough.
So yeah, I mean, she prepared that. I would suggest that the committee read through it and see
Yeah.
if there's any people's comment, edit, or just suggestions. But I think she did a great job there with that information. Because I think there's a lot of potential, I mean, to try and really make this, I'm gonna use the term blow up, to make it something that hopefully generates interest in the town and can create economic development
Yes.
for the local businesses, and maybe even create some new businesses.
Well, then once we start getting like the trails established, like out there and more recognized, then I think we want to start thinking about how do we drive people to eat here and do other things here that brings their money to Hanson. But we'll work on this foundationally. But this is great. This is great work. Did anybody have any questions or comments or thoughts about any of that?
So this kind of leads into an idea that Jay had come up with, and I'll let her hit you with that.
Okay.
Sorry, it's my show apparently.
That's right.
So this was actually when we were quoted that 3015 for the ad, and I was thinking it'd be so much easier to do an article, but it helps to have an event to do an article on. We could spend a lot less than 315 and have a little trail event that's family friendly. So my thought was we could do it at Camp Kiwanee, which also great to have things at Camp Kiwanee in general. Something simple, kids are easy, you know, music, bubbles, a few easy snacks, some field games, and then at the end have a scavenger hunt / hike on the Alton J. Smith Trail. But you know, we also would have set up an info table about all of our trails, have our brochures out
I love
there,
it.
kind of talk to people about that. I ran just what it looks like it would cost based on if we were planning for about 50 people. I think we could do it very easily, under $100, honestly, which would be much cheaper than that ad price. Be a community event, get an article in the paper. I think it kind of does a lot of things at once.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great
yeah,
idea.
I think it's a great idea. Yeah, really great idea.
I love the scavenger hunt, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, Dory did a story walk there, and where it was really super cute. The kids, it was pages from a kid's book, and the kids had to walk along the trail to read the whole story. And you could easily do that, combine it with the scavenger hunt, do both, like different parts, do different things. But it engaged the kids. It made them want to walk because they're like, oh, what happens next? It's like a page turn, but you've got to walk to see the next page. So I love it. So you were thinking for next spring we would do this? Or were you thinking this fall? I don't know.
Either, really.
Okay.
You know, I don't think it would be a terribly difficult event to put together. I think the biggest thing would just be connecting with scouts, connecting, you know, the library already does trail walks, so maybe getting them involved so that we could advertise it there as well.
Yeah.
You know, get it on.
We do have a very small budget, but we do have.
We have a micro budget, I would call it. Yes. Like you blink and it's gone. Yeah, we
might make more sense just because Hanson Day is already in the fall, but also, as I said, it's.
No, but you could do it early October and advertise the event at Hanson Day. Like it's still pretty,
nice
you know, pretty
idea.
okay to walk at that time. It's not like, you know, kids aren't going to have to, you know, worry about frostbite in the middle of October. So.
Advertising at Hanson Day would actually be great if we were had it on.
Well, why don't you, you know, like kick it around, see whether you've got uptake with, you know, the various stakeholders, and then we'll talk about it at our next meeting, but I'd be totally, I think would be open to you doing it, you know, sooner rather than later. Yeah,
Advertising it at Hanson Days, and especially if it's the trail,
yeah,
you know, maps are there and everything, and have this little event.
Yeah, it's
Advertising,
trying to
yeah.
pull it all together,
Yeah.
that, you know.
Mm.
no, it's a lot, it's a lot.
It takes the time.
Yeah.
You know.
You could have a raffle, lunch with the trail boss. Like, I'm just saying.
A granola bar.
Yeah. All right, well, that's awesome. Thank you. This is amazing. And Kim did have big shoes to step into, but you clearly are stepping into them and making them your own, which is important too, to, you know, bring your flavor to it. Did anybody have any questions about that? Okay. That brings us to the town planner update. Mr. DeVries.
So, the two things I have here is, one is the Hanson Highway Department. How many people were able to watch the select board meeting where the presentation was made about the highway department and the thoughts of improving that site with renovation of existing buildings and then adding on or putting up a new garage, taking down the old garage building and putting up a new garage building. So that's been handed over to the select board. We've had, the select board has given our blessing, the committee's given our blessing, so we're gonna start working now towards going.
So will we be having like stakeholder meetings with?
Yes,
like-
yes. So now the first thing is obviously we came up with a thought process and what we were gonna do, and we needed to get support from the committee and the select board, because if we didn't have that, then this was just a moot point.
Yeah.
And then now what we'll do is we'll go on to speaking with the folks from the youth baseball.
Yep.
And start getting people together and also start looking at costs, so forth and so on, and try and phase this into different phases so that we give something better than they have and something that's cost effective to the taxpayers. So, you know, that is kicking off, that's kicking off. Then the other.
Well, can I just chime in for one second? So, if, in case you actually have a life and didn't watch the select board meeting, we talked about this not last night, but the prior Tuesday. It was the first time the full select board had seen the plan. Anne is chairing the highway committee. And the original highway committee was looking at using the light control buildings, but they have been in such a state of, I don't want to call it disrepair, but steady decline, I will say. And there's been contamination found on the site, more contamination than what was already cleaned up. And we've had Mass Wildlife and Fisheries send us a letter saying, P.S. by the way, we really don't want you to put highway there, which they were like 3 years after the fact that we were thinking about doing it. It was like, you're a day late and a dollar short here, but like, it's a good thing we didn't move quickly because it would have already been there. But, so given all of that, and then Tony was like, it kind of really doesn't make a lot of sense to have highway where you've got to go over railroad tracks. It's next to wetlands. If something goes wrong, it's going to go real wrong,
Right,
and it's
yeah.
going to pollute state-owned land. Doesn't make any sense. We've also had some overtures made by, we'll say, local governmental entities, and I can't be too specific about that, saying that they might be interested in leasing the property. Anything that we do at Light Control will have to go out to RFP. It will be done transparently. Everybody will have an opportunity to respond and say, this is what I'd be willing to pay, this is what I want to do there, et cetera, et cetera. But long story short, Light Control is off the table for all of those reasons. The select board has decided it's not the right site. The highway director does not believe it's the right site, and our town planner does not believe it's the right site. So Tony was tasked with trying to figure out what to do, where we could have it. It's important to note that obviously, you know, money is important. We want to keep this as cost effective as possible, but we don't want to build something that's just going to be a flash in the pan. We want it to last. When we're looking at our debt, in 2026, we happen to have about $6 to $7 million coming off of our debt. Because we'll be paying off the high school, the HVAC, and what was the other?
The police station?
Yeah, the police station. So in essence, this is gonna cost 4 million to 5 million, and it will be the average taxpayer, if it passes, will see no change in their tax bill whatsoever, because we've been paying for those other things, and we're gonna sub in that.
No, once those things, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's like we'll still have that same amount of debt. It will just be for something else. So I think that that's a real sales point. And the other thing is, quite frankly, I would defy anybody to go down to the building that these guys are working in and tell me that it doesn't need to be replaced. It's disgusting.
Yeah, they've definitely been there for a long time.
I haven't even been in that building, but you can see it from the street that it's in.
Yeah, and Tony told us that there's a back wall missing and there's a raven that's like taken up in there. Like, this is not a good sign. So,
You need a tetanus shot to some areas.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they would demo everything and then start.
So the idea is the existing police station, we take that building back. We would assist the folks from the youth baseball, go to somewhere else, maybe like a modular trailer, get that on site. So they could move into that and still function at the site, be right there, have the space they need to do their thing.
Yeah.
We would take back the old police station, and that would become the administrative part of the highway department. That, my description is some paint, some screen doors, and then you can get them into that building.
You said it's in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has ADA access,
Yeah.
it has a sign out front, it has, heat, air conditioning, so they can move all the administrative part into that front building. That's done. Then the next phase would look at renovating where they are now for their administrative, doing some reno in that building, maybe creating some lounge areas for the employees, especially when they're like here for like 24 hours because of a storm or whatever.
Snow.
Then also part of that phase would be the garage, because it's done, the salt shed's done. So is this storage building that has the raven and is rusted out. That would all go away, and a new Morton building would go in the place of where the garage is now. It'd be like 130 by 60 with another 40 by 40 attached. Everything that they need could now be inside the building. Because one of the big things is they have dump trucks that are $250,000. They're sitting outside.
Yeah, they
Right.
can't.
They can't fit them in the building. And then there would be a new salt shed that would run in a north-south direction. Right now it runs in an east-west direction, it runs north-south direction. And that rusted out building would just go away completely, because now with that big garage, they'd have all the storage they would need and the ability to, keep the trucks inside, work on the trucks. And so that's what we're looking at, and we're hoping that we can, we've talked to Morton. We know that the building that we want is approximately about $2 million, and we've looked at pricing for the salt shed. So we're hoping, preliminarily, we're figuring $3 million, $4 million. But this was our idea, but we needed to have support from the select board and the building committee, and now that we do, now we'll start to go in and, look at each item and how much it costs and figure it out. If we come back and figure out with today's labor costs or materials or whatever, this is gonna be a $12 million project, we know we're dead in the
We're dead in the
water. But if
water.
we know if we can
Come
do
on,
some of the work ourselves and reuse, repurpose, that we may be able to have something that is, say, about $4 to $5 million or $4 million. I'm trying to keep it as low as possible, so let's say 4 to 5, and it's something that's better than what they have. It'll keep them going for, if they're well-maintained buildings, you keep it going for 20, 25 years, 30 years, and then maybe a future Hanson may decide to put up a separate highway building, brand new, whatever, in the future. And even if that happened, they could still repurpose the site as for something else,
And just so you know, like, the preliminary costs to retrofit the light control building for highway was gonna be 12 million. like 10 to 12 million. And that's why there was such an impediment of like, where the hell are we going to come up with that money? Like, who's going to vote for that?
Right.
You know, especially on top of the rest of the debt that we already had. So I think for a variety of reasons, the time is right. They've been exceedingly patient there, and I think, you know, we've got I think, a really great workable plan that's reasonable.
Yeah,
You know?
and I've said since I've come here, the highway department is one department that needs to be heavily invested in and expand because of what they do and the amount of work they do and is required of them. And now we have what's known as MS4 regulations, which has to do with drainage from the EPA. And those come out in phases. And now the town of Hanson, like every other community in Massachusetts, has to comply with these regulations, and so there's a lot more work for them to do as far as like maintaining the roads and the drainage system
Yeah.
and stuff. So eventually there has to be an investment to get like more people or more equipment or at least a better site. And of course, you know, we know that there's some storms that we've had that are pretty intense, whether it's wind or rain or, you know, and they need to be able to work out of a building that is not falling down.
Right.
And I think Rich has got a lot of ideas about how to keep our costs down there and not to hire as many contractors, but he's going to need a little bit more equipment to do it. So it's like a short-term investment, but long-term gain, much to the chagrin of our contractors. But he needs storage to do that. He needs the facility to do that. So right now they are actually doing cold storage in the light control building. They are using, like fire and highway is using that building for that.
The other thing I had was a thought for the McQuan school site, specifically is the playground. So what I came up with is currently the playground is back here, which was at one point behind the school. So it's way in the back, it's out of the way, it's, you know.
It's looking a little past prime right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
So what I'm looking to do is, and this wouldn't be for October, this would be for next year's, put together a proposal to go to the CPC and ask to construct a new playground closer to the parking area, the parking lot out front, and even create, as part of that, like and I'm using these numbers as a starting point, but also like a pavilion, you know, like a post and beam type of pavilion. So, because right now there's really no trees out there. And so like if you have a day like today, it is hot. So, you know, something that's undercover, some picnic tables, you know, and so I would be trying to see if the CPC would, you know, I'm gonna try and get some estimates and so forth, but then I wanna go to the CPC and see about getting funding for that. And then also, it's future, and I know I'm not going to necessarily get money for that. We'd have to try and find grant money, but it's a basketball court, you know, relocate, you know, a new basketball court there, and maybe a little dog park as well. Because we did have an interest from a young resident who said, hey, could you put a dog park out at McQuan?
We got the cutest little letter from, yeah.
And we've found some grants for dog parks. They seem to be transitioning and phasing, so, but we, you know, might be able to find some grant money to do a dog park. So this is one of the ideas I'm coming up with to maybe, you know, but again, it would be working through the winter to get it to next year for May town meeting.
That's cool.
Are there any plans to do anything to that property where the school was, as far as?
Not right now, other than the library is, and actually there's a meeting tomorrow night where we're being presented, and I think you're attending, and I think our building commissioner is attending, and I'm attending, where they're going to talk about, they've been working with an architect and whether they need to rehabilitate the current building or build a new building, and I will try not to.
The library at Indian Head?
The library, the main library. They did ask for a little piece of property around that library, not the whole McQuon footprint, but like a little bit, just in case they had to expand or do something. And definitely they've got parking issues there, so they've got to address that with the senior center, too. So, but the rest of the property has not been, committed to anything. It's a blank footprint. We haven't had, time or money or anything to really dedicate to that. So we're just trying to keep it, but,
Maintain.
yeah, but the playground is something that we need, because you can't bring your children to the playground at Indian Head during school hours. It's closed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be a much safer to have it closer to the street.
Yeah.
Easier to access. And also, one of the thoughts I had for that site, McQuon, is potentially looking at the trails grants to maybe do a trail on that site, because it's 17 acres. So, and that might be able to combine into some big seeds for something. you
Yeah.
know?
We have had, like, the sports teams, like, oh, we want to make sports fields. It's like, okay, I mean, you know, the whole town can't really just be sports fields, so.
Yeah.
I have to-
Oh, are you going to CPC?
Yeah, I gotta go. They started at 6:30.
I'm gonna pop down,
I've
too.
got the Form A, so I'm gonna submit that. So
Okay.
I'm gonna
All right.
excuse
Good to see you
myself,
guys. I might see you down there.
all right.
All right. Our September meeting, when did we want to hold that?
Oh, one quick thing, if I
Oh,
may.
yeah.
212 Industrial Boulevard, which is a town-owned piece in the industrial park. I had received a one-stop grant for that, and we've kicked off that project. So,
Will we get the money, though?
we got the money.
We already got the money.
We got the money, the contract signed, we have the engineer on
Okay.
board. So, as of right now, they went out there today to do some survey work, and they're going to be going out there to establish the wetland line and so forth. So I've kicked off with the state and the engineer.
Okay, because, just so you guys know, we just heard yesterday that we got good news. You got a Green Communities grant to do energy efficiency at a town hall. Bad news, you are not complying with MBTA, so you will not get it. And then I'm of course inserting my sarcastic view of this. And then we also heard that some supplemental Chapter 90 money, which we use for the roads, we're not going to get. We don't
Yes.
have the total. You didn't have the total for that, did you? Lisa
Uh,
didn't know what the total was yet today.
I can find out, because
Okay.
it is, they do have it on their website.
I thought it was,
talking-
yeah.
I was talking with our highway superintendent today, and don't hold me to this, but I think he threw out a number almost around
Oh,
$170,000.
jeez Louise. Okay.
That would be the supplement.
Yeah, I know.
So,
All right, I didn't think it
but I
was going to be
can-
that
I-
high.
I'll verify, because they do have a webpage that lists those amounts.
Okay, so, all right.
There was, and if I'm sorry, Madam Chair, one
No,
last thing.
yeah.
There had been a question at the last meeting regarding Impressed LLC as far as revenue.
Yes,
to
yeah.
the town. So, according to the assessor, the estimated value of the site, I'll say, is $197,250. And they get $2,639.20 estimated annually. Speaking with the treasurer's office, they had received a total of $14,750, and that was 2023 by looking at the date here. So that was the money that they received. Now I think that may have changed because of the whole regulation change as far as what we're getting back from them.
But that's not the total, because, like,
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
sorry, she puts that she haven't received any funds for FY25. Below is the revenue from FY24. So from FY24, we received $14,750 according to the treasurer.
and that was for the personal property?
Um,
Like, what was that for? Treasurer collector?
it says all it says is
Yeah, because she
cannabis
would,
receipts.
she would be
Yeah.
doing personal property, so like the machinery.
Yeah.
And then the assessor does the building.
Yeah, so that would be more likely
Okay.
for the personal.
Yeah,
So 14,750 in FY24.
okay. So, it's just another business in town now.
Yep.
Okay, did you say you had something else, or?
No, that was it.
Okay, so we have to set a September meeting date, and I'd ideally like to have it Well, I think pretty much unless we wait until last week in September, we would be having it. I mean, can
Hanson.
people do like the middle of September?
So you have either the 3rd, 10th, 17th, or the 24th.
The 3rd, isn't that Labor Day week? Like,
That's Labor Day weekend.
yeah, all right. So, what about the 10th? Is that doable for people? Does that seem
Yeah.
okay? All right, well, all right, then, I know Tony likes us to vote on this, so I will entertain a motion to set our next meeting as September 10th.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, amazing. All right, so September 10th at 5:30. Great.
Yeah.
Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, amazing.